She's one of the strongest magicians who has the OP skill to cast spells without chanting, but she's extremely shy and likes living the easy life. However, everything changes one day when a fellow mage asks her to join the Magic Academy to secretly protect the Crown Prince from assassination. The story begins in a tense battlefield near the kingdom of Redil, as a battalion of soldiers and mages stands in formation while fending off flying dragons. The knights are at the front, desperately protecting their mages with shields, waiting for their spells to defeat the dragons. The magic blasts hit the dragons, but their bodies are too tough to be damaged. The soldiers panic while trying to hit the dragon's weak points, but then they suddenly see a legendary black dragon come out of the forest in the distance and freeze in horror. All the fighters realize they're about to go on a one-way trip to heaven as the massive horror prepares to wipe them out. Away from the battle, in the city of Riddle, a maid informs the daughter of the Duke, Isabel, to escape the city, but she refuses, saying that she won't abandon her father, who is fighting on the front lines. Meanwhile, some distance from the battlefield, we see a hooded mage walking towards the massive black dragon. Back at the Duke's mansion, Isabel tells her maid Agatha that she is free to escape and live as a free woman, but she refuses to leave her mistress. As both women prepare to meet their end, suddenly, a boy reports to them that the Silent Witch has just defeated the Black Dragon. Isabel asks if there were any casualties, but after learning that nobody lost their life, she starts crying in relief. Her happy moment gets rudely interrupted as the dragons suddenly fly over the city. They start attacking the buildings in revenge for their fallen leader, and the citizens start panicking to protect themselves. Suddenly, a dragon jumps from the palace roof and goes straight for Isabel in front of Agatha's helpless eyes. The dragon opens its huge jaw as it closes in on the frozen girl. When suddenly, a powerful blast from the sky pierces through its head. Isabel recovers from her shock and turns around to see a magical gate appearing from an energy circle in the sky. The Silent Witch quietly uses her spell to open the door, which sucks in the rampaging dragons. Then, she uses another spell, which creates countless magic circles in the sky that unleash a rain of bolts, which pierce through and easily defeat all the dragons in the city. With her magic powers, the witch even cushions the falling dragons to prevent their dead bodies from crushing the citizens below. 3 months later, a girl named Monica is quietly doing research in her house when a little girl knocks on her door to bring her some food. After putting the food on a table, the girl says hi to Monica's cat Nero before asking if she can throw out her extra books and papers. After she shyly refuses, the girl informs her that the eastern border was raided by a horde of dragons, led by the Black Dragon King. She gets excited talking about one of the legendary 7 sages who was sent to defeat the dragon horde. Monica gets more and more uncomfortable as the girl goes on, but she doesn't notice her nervousness. She fangirls over the Silent Witch of the 7 sages, who was sent to defeat them with her ability to cast magic spells without chanting their names. After the girl stops yapping, Monica gives her some silver coins for her service. She thanks Monica for giving her so much, but then grows suspicious of how she can make so much money without ever touching any grass. Monica claims that she just does maths in her house, which reminds the girl that a fellow mathematician was looking for her. At the mention of this person, Monica's hands start shaking in fear, and a cheerful voice from behind her door makes her scream in surprise. She quickly slams the door shut in the visitor's face, who forces it open to get inside. Monica stutters out the man Lewis's name, who asks her to calm down. Lewis thanks the delivery girl for giving him the directions to her house, and she leaves them alone. He then gives the shy witch a proper greeting by addressing her with her title as the Silent Witch of the 7 Sages. He sits down at a table and waits for her while she gathers all of the books in her house with a silent magic spell. We learn that Monica has always been so shy that she would be speechless in front of strangers, shivering until she either threw up or passed out. Once she realized that she would fail her exams if she couldn't cast spells in front of her teachers, Monica decided to just learn how to cast magic without chanting anything. She spent all her time researching chantless magic casting and invented an entirely new branch of magic spells instead of overcoming her social anxiety. As she displayed her abilities in silence, Monica's teachers discovered her extraordinary talent. At present, Lewis, who is also one of the 7 sages, tells Monica that she is wasting her potential by spending all her time doing maths. He orders his maid Rin to silence their room with a soundproof wall. Monica feels jealous of Rin, who can freely use natural mana without needing magic spells, because she is a high wind spirit. After their conversation becomes private, Lewis informs Monica that the King of Riddle ordered him to protect the second prince, Felix, in secret, even though he is the official bodyguard of the first prince. Monica wonders why the king gave him such orders, but Louis refuses to speak out of respect for the king. He tells her that the prince is staying at Serendia Academy, but he can't stay hidden there because he's too handsome and famous. Rin quickly deflates his huge ego before he reveals that the powerful Duke Clockford controls the academy, so he created a magical device to spy on him. He then shows Monica the magical brooch, and she quickly determines all of the spying powers it has. Louis praises Monica's keen eye before explaining that he personally crafted it for protecting the prince. Monica feels worried about doing shady stuff like spying, but Louis makes a flimsy excuse that he is only doing it to protect Felix. He then reveals that the king himself gifted the brooch to Prince Felix, but it was mysteriously broken the very next day. Monica shivers as Louis gets angrier and angrier, laughing while complaining that he spent an entire week carefully crafting the charm, only to have it broken after a day. He laughs even more, while mentioning that he couldn't even see his wife the whole time, while Monica grows uncomfortable and worries for Felix's safety. Louis reassures her that the prince is doing fine, and when he went to check on him, he learned that the brooch was broken by accident. He then asks her if she understands his mission, but she rapidly shakes her head. Louis ignores her discomfort and just tells her to go spy on the prince in his place. Monica refuses, stuttering like a broken printer as she asks why she should do it instead of him. Louis points out that she is a quiet girl who always stays hidden in public gatherings so nobody will know her. She starts crying in anxiety, but he keeps telling her about how perfect she is for the job. He then points out that even after becoming a top sage 2 years ago, she just holed herself up in her house and spent all her time doing maths. She defends herself, saying she slayed the big black dragon a few months ago, but Louis tells her he slayed 10 by himself. Using the pressure of keeping her position as a 7 sage, he tries forcing the poor girl to accept the job in his place. She tries making an excuse that she is just a spare sage on the sidelines, but Louis forces her to accept the job. Then, as the shocked Monica resigns herself to her fate, Louis tells her a story about an orphan girl who lived alone. One day, a kind countess adopted the girl and raised her in a noble household. Monica feels happy for the girl, but then starts crying after learning that her mother passed away from a terminal illness, and she was forced to serve the countess's cruel daughter and sent with her to Serendia Academy. The story leaves Monica heartbroken, but Louis shocks her into silence after pointing out that she will be using this backstory to sneak into Prince Felix's academy. She remains shell-shocked at her table until night, looking outside with the same blank expression as before. Nero comes up to Monica and tries to wake her up with his paws, and she finally comes to her senses, only to start crying out of anxiety again. He asks her to run away from Louis, but she explains that he will haunt her to the end of the world if she tries that. Nero then tries consoling her, saying she would get to meet a handsome prince, but Monica tells him that she has never even seen him since she always closed her eyes in all public ceremonies. Nero finally realizes just how underprepared his master is for this job. The next day, Monica is experiencing a cheerful dream of counting little piggies while flying to her location, while creepily counting to hundreds of thousands in real life. Louis pops her bubble to get her attention, and Rin explains that they're arriving at their destination. She offers to help them enjoy a wild landing with her special powers, but Louis refuses. Once they arrive, they enter a big mansion, where Louis gets excited to meet his wife, Rosalie, who just ignores him and goes straight for Monica. She starts giving the shy toothpick a medical exam while Lewis complains about a lack of attention. Rosalie takes Monica away to give her some treatment, after which Louis tells her that she will meet her new partner soon. Monica wonders if the guest will be upset by her suspicious backstory, but Louis claims that the Count of Kerbeck actually loved it. Monica wonders why he's talking about the Count she saved a few months ago, and he explains that he is willing to help her return her favor. He then takes her to meet the Count's daughter, Isabel, who immediately starts laughing in her face about her shabby appearance. After roasting Monica's entire existence, she politely asks how well she did. Monica feels too shy to answer, so Isabel steps back and introduces herself before thanking her for protecting her village. Louis steps in and explains that the silent witch is too shy to respond. Isabel nods and starts fangirling over her as she remembers her heroic performance of protecting the city. After she's done glazing her, she tells Monica that she'll bully her in the academy so much that nobody will ever think she's a powerful spy. Later, while heading to the academy in a carriage, Monica dreams about her father, who gifted her a tape measure in her childhood. She remembers enjoying measuring everything around her, and her father's words that everything in the world, including humans, is made of huge numbers. Once they arrive at the academy, Isabel throws an Oscar-worthy performance in front of the housemaster, letting him know just how much she despises being in the same room as the commoner Monica. The old man gets scared, thinking that he was setting her up with a relative. Remembering how much Monica hated the idea of sharing a room with a stranger, Isabel continues to act like a spoiled brat to get herself a separate room. As the helpless old man wonders how to please her, Isabel picks up on his nervousness and orders him to send Monica away from her to the attic room. The housemaster hesitates at first about putting a poor girl alone in the attic, but after seeing how Isabel is, he quickly begins making arrangements. Monica silently watches the scene, impressed by Isabel's manipulation tactics. Elsewhere in the academy, Aaron stands horrified in front of Student Council President Felix, who calls him out for stealing from the council's funds as their treasurer. The two secretaries, Elliot and Bridget, count his number of offenses, while Neil, who is the general affairs manager, points out that Aaron was recorded stealing 50 times. As the council's vice president, Cyril remains silent. Felix reminds Aaron that he only got to his position because his grandfather, Duke, recommended him to the school. He warns him that because of his foolish stunt, his father's family will now lose the Duke's favor. Aaron's heart pounds from fear, but he still believes that his secret savior will protect him. However, he quickly loses hope in the face of his crisis and lashes out at the prince, calling him a lapdog who gained power just because of the Duke's influence. Cyril stops him in his tracks with an ice spell, furious that Aaron insulted the noble prince so openly. Felix thanks Cyril for his help before politely dismissing Aaron, reminding him that he's dumb enough to get outsmarted by a lapdog. Meanwhile, as Monica and Isabel wait outside the headmaster's office, Isabel starts complaining that she wanted to share a room with her to have tea parties and other fun. They stop as Aaron gets dragged out by a teacher from the nearby room, and Isabel quickly takes note of all the students' identities. Later, as teacher Victor introduces Monica as the transfer student to her new class, she trembles in her spot, unable to speak. Victor waits for her to introduce herself, but as Monica looks ahead at everyone, she starts feeling more anxious, so he allows her to take her seat. She sits down alone in a corner, but a curious student called Lana asks her why she has such an outdated hairstyle. After Monica shyly tells her that she doesn't know how to style her hair, a bunch of other students start whispering about how poor and uncultured she is. Lana notices them and shifts the topic, asking about Monica's hometown. She gets excited after learning she's from a big, eastern city, but Monica grows silent after she asks her about the local culture. She then tells her about lipstick that is trending among noble ladies, but the girls around them then start mocking Lana for being a new rich kid, trying to boost her ego by hanging out with a commoner. Lana gets silent and walks away from Monica, who lowers her head in shame. She gets surprised as Lana starts styling her hair from behind and leaves after putting her hair in a neat style. Monica admires her new hairdo in a mirror, feeling bad that she couldn't even thank the kind girl. Later, Monica tries sneaking around the school to get close to Felix, but gives up quickly as all the people around her make her nervous. However, after thinking about the punishment that sadistic Daddy Louis will inflict on her if she fails her mission, she gets terrified and tries motivating herself to try again. Monica walks through a peaceful garden to find a quiet spot to relax. where she sees Prince Felix reading a book peacefully. She quickly decides to retreat, but suddenly a man grabs her from behind. Elliot suspects her of spying on the prince, so he attacks her and points out that she is hiding a weapon in her pocket. When the terrified girl tells him that it's just her lunch, he refuses to believe that a rich girl would like such a peasant. While trying to get away from him, Monica trips and falls, and a bunch of nuts fall out of her pocket, at which Elliot finally stops. Felix orders him to let go of Monica before getting down to comfort her. He asks if she is the new transfer student, and Monica tearfully nods, relieved that someone believes her. He then gives her the nuts back, thinking an innocent baby squirrel like her can't be an assassin sent by his enemies. Monica tries thanking Felix for his help, but before she can finish, he notices a pot falling on them from above and protects her. Monica's eyes widen and a gust of wind smashes the pot mid-air before it can hit them. Elliot gets angry and runs to find the attackers while Felix checks to see if Monica is okay. She finally notices how close the handsome prince is to her and passes out of embarrassment. Later, Monica experiences bad memories in a nightmare, remembering how a man blamed her father for all his problems before abusing her. She wakes up from the nightmare to see her class's health officer, Selma, who warmly checks on her and strokes her face. Monica notices how beautiful her hands are before returning to her attic. Inside, she collapses face first onto the bed in front of Nero, who learns that she is finding it impossible to fit into the new school. Nero thinks that she should just use her magic to erase the memories of anyone who catches her during her mission, but she refuses to use such powerful techniques. Then she mentions the two students who treated her kindly, feeling bad that she couldn't even thank them. Nero tells her that he'll take care of it, and Monica gets horrified as she realizes what is about to happen. The black cat surrounds himself with smoke and then appears in the form of a real boy. Monica retreats and begs him to become a cat again, but he keeps chasing after her. Suddenly, Nero loses his playful mood as he notices someone suspicious outside the window. Monica uses her magic to find the person snooping around the boys' dorm, and Nero asks if it's an assassin trying to attack the prince. She tells him that she met that person earlier, and then goes to sleep, where she remembers her father working hard on a research project. The little Monica asks her father why he keeps working on something that might be a failure, and he tells her that he'll keep working on it for as long as he needs to complete it, even if it fails. After she wakes up from her dream, Monica has her breakfast and asks Nero if he thinks some things are pointless. Nero tells her that even though a lot of silly things in life are pointless, he still enjoys doing them and having fun. Monica then remembers her father's complete words that the harder the challenge was, the more fun he had. This gives her the motivation to face her demons and do the very difficult task of thanking the two students who helped her. She first visits Lana with her hair looking like a rat's nest since she couldn't style it herself. Then she thanks her for the help, but Lana turns away from her. Seeing her upset, Monica builds up the courage and asks her to help her tie it again, but realizes that's not what she wanted to say. Lana laughs and tells her to sit with her, and then begins styling her hair with a special comb. She tells her about the expert craftsmanship used to design the beautiful comb, but realizes that it must sound like a boring story. Lana feels insecure that she has nothing interesting to talk about since her family doesn't have an old tradition, but Monica tells her that she's also a pretty boring person herself since she only talks about numbers. This makes Lana laugh again, and Monica admires her finished hairdo after she gets done. She thinks the reason the hair looks so good is that Lana balanced all the ratios and proportions, but she tells her that styling is more of a creative art that she should master with practice instead of calculating it. Suddenly, all the girls in the class start whispering as the handsome Elliot graces them with his presence. He spots Monica in a corner, who quickly gets up and hides behind a curtain in front of him. Elliot goes up to the shivering girl and opens the curtain in her face before asking her to follow him. He takes her to the student council office, where she learns that the handsome boy she met earlier is the president, and also Prince Felix. Monica wonders how hard Louis is going to roast her for just accidentally falling right into the prince's room, but forces herself to focus on the present and thank Felix for his help. He politely waves it off, but Monica then asks him why he was snooping around at night. Elliot is surprised by this news, but Felix calmly says that he never left the dorm. Monica stubbornly insists that he was the hooded person since she saw that his build was just like the prince's. The prince points out that his build is quite common among boys, which triggers Monica, who starts yapping about how a bunch of golden ratios for the prince's head to height is too rare to belong to anyone else. Monica even draws all the ratios and diagrams on a blackboard to prove that her calculations are correct, and finally realizes that she said too much. As she shakily turns around, the prince calmly accepts defeat and admits that she caught him. Elliot wonders what Cyril would think of the precious prince sneaking out at night, and Felix says that if Monica were a true assassin, she would have taken the chance to attack him when he was alone at night. Elliot then points out the flower pot incident, and Monica interrupts him to point out that it probably fell by accident. Felix then explains that the attacks were probably because of Aaron, since he started getting assaulted after he locked Aaron when he mentioned that he had a helper in the academy. Monica realizes that they actually put a trap in the garden after suspecting she was an assassin, and wonders how hard Louis would destroy her if he found out. After denying Elliot's final accusation of her being an assassin, Monica shakily accepts his order to help them find the real culprit. She later sits outside with Nero and cries about her situation once again. Nero points out that if the prince suspects her of being an assassin, then she is doing the opposite of her mission as his bodyguard. Monica starts crying even more, wanting to go home like a total wimp, but Nero cheers her up with some face pats. After calming down, Monica begins her investigation and goes back to the broken flower pot. She looks back at the building and figures the person who threw it must have been on a higher floor. As she tries to investigate in the academy halls, Monica overhears a bunch of bullies taunting Selma about her fiancé, Aaron, who is leaving the school because of his illness. Selma stays silent in the face of their taunting, and just then, Lana comes up behind Monica and helps her walk past the bullies upstairs. But their leader, Caroline, has other ideas. She quickly takes the chance to taunt Lana for her small family once again, asking why she didn't greet them respectfully. Lana roasts them for hogging the stairs like a bunch of kids and asks Caroline if she's too fat to move out of the way. Hearing this, Caroline gets angry and she pushes Lana, which makes her hit Monica, who's behind her, and makes her fall down. Monica thinks of using her wind magic but gets scared that her powers will get her exposed. So instead, she decides to use a barrier spell to form a slide over the stairs and smoothly slides down straight into Cyril's chest. Cyril asks if she's okay, but instead of caring about herself, Monica stammers to apologize for falling down on him and notices the coldness of his fingers. While she wonders if Cyril is releasing cold mana without realizing, Lana rushes to Monica's side, while Cyril asks her what happened. Before Lana can explain anything, Caroline comes down, smirking, and tells him that Lana pushed Monica down as a prank. Lana tries to defend herself, but Caroline suddenly brings up her reputation, saying that she is just a lower noble trying to bring down her rank with a false accusation. She grows silent in the face of Caroline's threat, and Monica realizes that in the rich people's world, the powerful people are always right. The feeling reminds her of the time when she lost a family member after they were punished wrongly, so she tries her best to make sure her friend Lana doesn't suffer. With great effort, Monica tells Cyril that she just slipped without it being anyone's fault, then runs away from the scene. She enters the music room where Bridget is playing the piano, who asks her if she needs anything. Monica makes an excuse that she just needs to get some stuff from her balcony and goes out to check the scene. She finds some flower pots on the balcony and an empty pot and tries to look over the wall. After failing to look over because of her short height, she uses the empty pot to stand on and look down. Seeing the broken pot on the ground below, she confirms that it's the right place where the culprit dropped it from. She gets off the pot to return, but notices that her only pair of gloves got dirty from the dust. The gloves give her an idea, but then Bridget asks her to get out since she needs to leave and lock the room. Monica asks her if she can have the keys to the room, but learns that she needs to write an application to the school if she wants to use it. Meanwhile, in the student council, Elliot tells Felix that he doesn't like Monica at all, but thinks she's a good person to use for solving the case since it allows Felix to stay safe indoors. Felix tells him that he's just trying to solve it on his own before his grandpa has to help out, and show everyone that the prince can't handle it himself. Then, Monica knocks on the door and tells him that she has figured out the real culprit. In another room, Selma sits sadly, getting fake consolation from her fake friends about her fiancé. She remains quiet, letting them say whatever they want, wanting to have at least someone she can talk to. Just then, Elliot confidently walks straight to Selma and asks for her time. He takes her to Felix's room, where the prince tells her that she has been caught as the culprit behind the attacks. He asks a startled Monica to explain why she thinks Selma is guilty, and she reveals that she saw the angle and speed at which the pot fell, so she easily calculated which floor it was dropped from. Felix interrupts her nerdy yapping and asks her to get straight to the point, so she drops her chalk and gets serious. Monica reveals that she dropped the pot from the 4th floor, since she had also booked the music room at that time. Her last piece of evidence is the empty flower pot she stood in to reach the balcony, since she is just as short as Selma, who needed it to stand on. As Selma tries to defend herself, Monica puts the nail in her coffin by reminding her that she wasn't wearing any gloves in the infirmary because her own pair got dirty from the pots. Finally, she tells her about the dirty gloves that she found thrown away in the music room, with Selma's name on them. Selma stares lifelessly after realizing she is doomed, then starts panicking and screams out in hysteria, confessing that she was the person who organized all the attacks on the prince, and also manipulated Aaron into stealing from the treasury. A red light glows in her crazy eyes, but it dims out as she loses her energy and starts crying for the sake of her fiancé, begging the prince to have mercy on him. After she leaves, Monica wonders what will happen to her, and Felix informs her that the normal punishment for trying to assassinate a royal was to erase the person's entire family. Monica's heart grows cold, but Felix tells her that he'll forgive Selma this time for her mental illness. He appreciates her bravery to throw everything away just to save someone she loves. Then, as Felix goes back to work, she notices all the papers on his desk and starts geeking out over all the numbers on them. Felix notices her interest in maths and asks if she'd like to do work for him. Monica agrees at once, and Felix appoints her as the new treasurer of the student council. His sudden announcement snaps Monica back to reality, and she falls into shock after realizing she is going to have strict responsibilities from now on. Later in her attic, Monica sits on her bed with the World War II soldier stare as Nero tries to talk to her. She sheds tears while revealing the good news, and Nero thinks her job of protecting the prince will finally be easier. However, Monica doesn't think it will work out as she recalls the reactions of everyone else. When Felix announced her position, Elliot was just shocked by the news, while protesting the decision. Felix defended her by revealing she handled years' worth of papers in just a few hours, and then asked her for her opinion on how well he was managing the treasury. After she honestly told him that his treasurers did a horrible job, Cyril got angry at her for insulting the prince, leaving her with a bad taste. After finishing her rant, Monica once again wishes that she could just hide in her mountain shack once more. Meanwhile, Cyril studies all the student records in his room that Monica worked on, since he doesn't trust her to handle the sensitive work. As he goes through the records, he recognizes the handwriting and leaves the room. He walks in front of a gate, but then a red light flashes in his eyes, and he changes his mind and returns to his room to sleep. The next morning, Monica feels uneasy even after solving all the mystery cases. Isabel takes her behind closed doors to make a scene about her getting the promotion, and breaks a bunch of old silverware to end the performance. After finishing, she asks Monica where she got her cute hairstyle from, then asks if she can match her own hair with hers. Agatha reminds her that it will look very suspicious if she has the same hairstyle while being Monica's bully, but she cheers up after she promises to style her hair the same as Monica's when they're on vacation. Later in class, Monica hears all kinds of rude comments about her being a country bumpkin who doesn't deserve to be treasurer. Lana asks her if the rumors are true, and she stays quiet. Seeing her silence, Lana brings up Monica's help from the other day and apologizes to her for causing Caroline to shove her down. Then she asks if Monica is doing okay, and she happily tells her that she didn't get hurt. Lana then notices that her hair looks bad, so she gets to straightening it up. Meanwhile, in the student council's office, Felix asks Cyril to help Monica learn her duties as the school's treasurer. He gets surprised but accepts the job, and Monica wonders why he assigned Cyril as her teacher. Felix explains that he was actually a treasurer in the past and can help her with his experience, and teases her if she wants to get him as her teacher instead. Monica quickly nods, saying that she'd rather not deal with the cold Cyril, but Felix ignores her and leaves her in his hands. Later, Cyril begins teaching Monica for the first time. He notices her sneezing from the cold and opens the window to let sunlight inside and gives her a scarf to warm up with. Monica quickly realizes that the source of the cold is Cyril himself, who is releasing ice mana from his body. He notices her staring and asks if she needs anything, so Monica asks him why he's keeping the documents she worked on. Cyril tells her that he needs to take her work to a teacher to get it reviewed, and she apologizes for creating extra work for him. Cyril wonders why she thinks normal student council duties are extra work, and tells her that she should be proud that she's working for the royal prince. She apologizes, saying that she is too insecure to feel proud of any achievement, remembering an incident where her friend once accused her of feeling more talented than him, but hides her feelings on the surface. Cyril gets up and takes out a book to read, saying that he doesn't like her negative attitude. He then informs her that he found out from other students about Caroline's true actions and sent warnings to her and her friends to formally apologize. Monica feels surprised that he investigated for the sake of justice, even without any help from the victim, despite being a rich kid who is only supposed to care about status. Cyril snaps her out of her thoughts and orders her to speak clearly, but she starts stuttering more as he keeps trying to correct her. Later at night, Cyril walks in a dark forest, breathing heavily while his footsteps leave a trail of ice behind. Meanwhile, in Monica's attic, Nero gets surprised when a bird comes flying inside. It glows and changes its form into Rin, who informs her that Louis is soon going to become a father. Nero starts crashing out at this news, while Rin tells them in a deadpan tone that she's feeling very emotional. Then, she gets to the important part, and gives Monica a letter in which Louis asks her to give her an update on how her mission is going. As she tries thinking of what to write, Rin interrupts to tell her that she is sensing a large amount of cold mana nearby. Outside in the woods, Cyril struggles to walk, thinking about exposing the real culprit behind all the theft and incidents. He falls on his knees in weakness, and a sinister figure comes to his mind as his mana starts overflowing from the pendant on his neck and creates a big spike of ice. Monica and Rin arrive at the scene as the ice traps Cyril's unconscious body, creating a lake of crystals around him. Monica notes that this accident is happening because he has an illness that forces his body to absorb more mana than he can handle. Monica wonders why he isn't using a magical item to help him regulate his mana, but then realizes that the brooch on his neck is causing the problem. Nero quickly runs to help, jumping up to Cyril's neck as he tries to yank the brooch off. However, it knocks him back into the air, and Rin notes that the item must be important to Cyril. Just then, Monica puts on her hood and walks toward the mass of ice, as Cyril prepares to defend his precious item from her, saying his father gave it to him. He charges his energy and creates ice spikes that shoot out at Monica, but they all vaporize on contact with her. Rin admires Monica's terrifying power as she easily handles all those powerful attacks, while also creating a shield around Cyril to protect him. Cyril remains stubborn, and the ice around him grows even more as he prepares a larger attack. Once Monica gets close enough to Cyril, she raises her hand and brings out a blazing dragon of mana to face him head-on. Cyril grows emotional, the ice slowly creeping up to his neck as he thinks about the foster father who accepted him and gifted him the precious pendant. He roars out in fury to attack Monica, and the ice engulfs him completely. Monica's fire dragon flies straight at him and wraps around his ice, completely snuffing out his attack and melting it. As the defeated Cyril looks up at the hooded Monica and her fire dragon in front of him and remembers his own mother, who refused to accept him as her own, he finally passes out from exhaustion. In his dreams, he remembers standing in a graveyard with his grieving mother. Cyril recalls that his father was a jobless and abusive man from a noble family who was cruel to his commoner mother. His mother was left all alone after her husband passed away from alcohol addiction, so Cyril worked hard to get accepted by his father's noble family. He thought that with his new foster father's support, he could help his mother, but she only felt inferior and refused to see him as family. He wakes up from this memory and sees Monica holding his pendant with a glow around it. After he asks her to return it, she places it down on him, and Cyril goes back to sleep from exhaustion. She tells Rin that she added a protective spell to his item to make sure it doesn't malfunction again, also explaining that she modified it so he can use her spell to his advantage. Then she leaves to go somewhere after telling Nero to guard Cyril. As she runs through the forest with Rin, Monica tells her that both Selma and Aaron were actually innocent and being mind-controlled by someone else with black magic. She runs up to her teacher Victor's house, who asks what she's doing out so late. She notices a box in his hands and tells him to stop trying to replace the records in the academy. Victor tries to act innocent, but she exposes that all of the records in the student council started becoming messed up 5 years ago, after he became the council advisor. Victor remains silent, then suddenly grabs her arm in anger, saying that researching magic is too expensive without strong funding. He begins chanting a set of formulas to control Monica's mind, and she stays still as he puts his hand on her face and tries to make her forget her memories. However, Monica quietly tells him that his spell has a very weak formula and can never work on her. Then, she frees herself from his grip and shows him how mind control magic is truly used, creating a swarm of magic butterflies around him, each containing its own formula.
Yes, that's it!
Mind manipulation mage
What? How can someone like you?
Victor watches helplessly, realizing that she is the silent witch who can cast perfect spells without any chanting. The butterflies surround Victor and control his mind, as Monica orders him to fall into a dream. He goes unconscious, remembering that he was trying to return the stolen student records after Cyril recognized his handwriting on them. As he walks towards the council room, suddenly some pigs appear out of nowhere and snatch the book away from him and take him to a magical landscape where he gets surrounded by a horde. In the real world, Victor starts drooling like a drunk idiot, and Monica starts panicking as she remembers that mind control is illegal. Rin tells her not to worry since she'll just throw him away to Lewis so he can torture all the information out of him. Then she hears Victor mumbling something about pigs and asks Monica what he's talking about, learning that she gave him a sweet dream filled with millions of pigs. Sometime later, news about Professor Victor getting arrested spreads throughout the school. Monica tries to remain quiet as everyone gossips about the incident, and Lana comes up to talk. She tells her that the handsome barrier sage Louis arrested their corrupt teacher. As Lana starts talking about all of the mighty 7 sages, Monica asks her if her hair is looking good before she can start talking about the silent witch. Meanwhile, in Felix's room, he talks to a white lizard called Wildianu, who tells him that an unknown black-haired person carried Cyril to safety. He still feels suspicious about all the strange events happening around them, and wonders if Monica is behind them all. Felix brings up the fact that Monica never tried to do anything illegal, even though he left her alone with the keys to all the council's precious secrets. He thinks that she might be someone watching him for the sake of Duke Clockford, or a bodyguard sent by the king, or even an assassin. But Wildianu thinks he is worrying too much. Felix tells him that he wants to enjoy what is happening around him because his time will expire after the next king is crowned, after which the water spirit stays silent and lets his master leave the room. Sometime later in the treasurer's room, Monica gets tired while working on her records and falls asleep from exhaustion. Cyril enters the room and finds her asleep after walking up to her. He looks at her sleeping face for a bit, then takes the quill away from her hands and puts it back in a pot. As his gaze falls on her little hands, he remembers how similar they look to the hooded witch's hands when she returned his brooch. Suddenly, Felix comes in, and Cyril stammers, trying to reassure him that he wasn't doing anything illegal. He then wakes Monica up to greet Felix. She opens her eyes while half awake, then tells him that she's happy he isn't cold anymore. Felix goes up to her and starts feeding her while she sleeps, and asks Cyril if he wants to try too. He feels shy and refuses, while Monica thinks in her dream about congratulating Louis on his wife's pregnancy. She says the congratulations out loud while asleep, and Felix thinks that it's actually Cyril's wife who got pregnant. Felix warns Cyril not to run away for milk, and Cyril helplessly yells at Monica to stop digging his grave in front of the prince. A few days later, Louis reads Monica's letter at his house. He notes her congratulations for his baby and her gift of a maths textbook, before finding out that she somehow became the student council's treasurer. Louis is shocked that Monica just casually mentioned it like it's no big deal, wondering why she never takes credit for any of her crazy achievements. Rin then asks him why he sent her to guard Felix, and Louis asks her what she thinks the reason is. She thinks about it, and says that since he was angry about his brooch getting broken, he just punished Monica to take out his frustration. Louis feels offended by her opinion and asks her what kind of person she thinks he is. She responds by saying that he looks like he has issues and likes bullying weak people, and Louis corrects her by saying that he only loves bullying the strong. Rin thinks he's just lying since Monica is just a weak girl, but Louis gets serious and tells her that even though Monica fainted in her interview for the Seven Sages, the truth is not so simple, even though he thinks that he himself is a genius. Louis thinks that Monica is a huge monster when it comes to magic. Rin wonders if she is even stronger than he, and he just avoids the question and sits back down. Then he tells her that the king actually wants to monitor the second prince because he is very talented, has the backing of Duke Clockford, but is also smart enough to stay undetected in his activities. Rin then nods and corrects her opinion of Louis as a sick person who enjoys bullying the strong. Meanwhile, in the student council, the officers feel frustrated as they try to clean up after the mess left by Victor and Aaron's actions. Felix calls Monica over and asks her to go greet all the club leaders in the academy. She thinks for a bit and realizes it's her worst nightmare, and Cyril notices her nervousness and offers to help. Elliot wonders why he likes Monica all of a sudden, but Cyril simply tells him that he thinks Monica has proved her abilities as treasurer, so he wants to make sure she is recognized for her efforts. He then turns back to Monica and asks if she is willing to face the challenge with him. Monica tries to find her words and manages to say yes. After that, Cyril turns around to begin their task, and Monica eagerly follows after him. Sometime later, Monica is outside in the city with Nero when suddenly, an earth dragon starts rampaging through the streets. Monica detects it from a tower with a spell, and Nero complains that he just wanted to have some good food in peace. A young mage appears to fight the dragon and shoots a fireball at it. However, the dragon comes out unharmed and swipes its claw at him. The mage jumps up to avoid the attack, which smashes the ground below, while the boy gets frustrated that none of his attacks are working. Nero wonders why he isn't just attacking the dragon's weak point from the air, but Monica points out that it's already very hard to use magic for flying, so the boy can't concentrate on attacking it in the air. Nero grins, realizing that Monica makes using multiple spells look so easy because of her incredible power. Meanwhile, on the ground, the dragon heads towards the boy, who starts regretting his life choices and says he won't skip training anymore. After that, he creates a fire ring that starts charging energy for an attack, while Monica points her finger in the dragon's direction. The boy chants and unleashes his final spell, which creates a powerful fire arrow that smashes into the dragon and releases smoke. Monica takes this chance to silently launch her own attack from behind, which drives right into the dragon's weak point. The massive beast staggers and falls to the ground while the townsfolk start cheering for their young hero, who starts thinking he got really lucky. Monica then looks up and tells Nero that his head is too heavy.
Your head. It's heavy.
And he reminds her that he carried her all the way to town and deserves a nice reward. As he asks for good food, Monica wonders if the town's shops would even open after the dragon disaster. But just then, they hear the happy shopkeepers celebrating by reopening and offering discounts. Nero admires human beings for being so strong after experiencing disaster, but Monica thinks she is very weak despite being human. Nero then asks her if she hasn't noticed that she is less nervous around him now in his human form. Monica thinks that he's right, and Nero tells her that she has grown stronger in her own way. Later in school, a female teacher groans as she takes care of all the extra paperwork after Victor got arrested. An announcer interrupts her thoughts as he introduces an old teacher named William,
The distinguished William McCragen, the Waterbite Mage.
who is going to become their Magecraft course teacher. He reveals that William is actually an expert teacher from the top mage academy called Minerva Academy, and that he even taught the Silent Witch and the Barrier Mage before they became part of the top 7 mages. Meanwhile, in the student council room, the officers all discuss which elective courses to choose. Neil asks Monica if she has made her pick, and she shakes her head, so Elliot asks if she wants to study an art like music. Then, Cyril mentions that he's going to take the advanced Magecraft course, and he and Elliot clash to prove which course is superior. Felix suddenly breaks the charged atmosphere by bringing up Cyril's singing skills,
My singing voice, Cyril. Your Highness!
who immediately loses his cold guy aura and runs away to get some papers when Felix asks him if he would be up to singing for him sometime. After that, he praises Elliot's violin skills and says that it would be nice to see the two of them perform together. Then, he goes up to Monica and suggests picking the Magecraft course for her. Monica gets nervous and remembers Louis's solid advice to just say that she'll think about it if she doesn't want to do something. So she tells Felix that she'll think about it later. and he promises to take her to visit the class the next day.
Okay, I'll make sure.
Then it's decided.
Monica snaps out of her thoughts and realizes that she has just dug her own grave. The next day, the two of them are walking together to the Mage craft class. Monica asks Felix if he likes Mage craft as well, but learns that he doesn't have any talent for it. The two of them encounter Glenn, the young mage who fought the dragon, and he starts fawning over Prince Felix. After shaking Felix's hand, Glenn takes Monica's hand through an unwanted roller coaster before giving them both some roasted chestnuts as a gift. Felix notes that Glenn comes from the area where a young mage defeated a powerful earth dragon, but Glenn pretends that he doesn't know anything about it. Then he asks Monica which course she is taking, and after learning that she's taking witchcraft, he reveals that he will also be taking the same course. All four of them enter the class together, and Monica thinks that she'll be okay since nobody will recognize her. However, just as they open the door, she sees her teacher, William, standing at the open door. Monica thinks that her career is over, but then the old man asks who the students are. She realizes that he can't see them very well, so she just sneaks inside quickly. The class begins, and William begins explaining the concepts of magecraft. He talks about mana points, which are the IQ points for mages. William notes that normal people have 50 mana points, while normal mages have 100 points, and the most talented mages, like the 7 sages, have over 150 points. Monica listens to his lecture nervously as he mentions that the students who love maths perform best at magecraft. Then, he starts bragging about one of his own students who was great at maths, and even learned how to invent an entirely new form of magecraft. William mentions that it's the Silent Witch, and Monica immediately hides herself in fear. He even tells the students that he'll use her formulas as exam questions, which embarrasses her even more. As the students feel impressed that this one girl created an entirely new branch of magic, Monica still refuses to accept their valid praise, thinking that she did nothing great. Then, William informs them that certain people can use magecraft even without great knowledge if they just know how to manipulate mana. He brings out a crystal device for measuring mana points and puts his own hand on it, showing that he has 160 mana points for water magic. Then he asks all the students to come over and test their own talent, and Monica thinks she's doomed since her 200 IQ will immediately get her exposed. Glenn's friend Neil is the first to go up and measures his mana points at 96. Then Glenn puts his own hand on the crystal, and the meter starts creeping up as Monica tries sneaking out of the room. William notices her walking out and finds her familiar, but before he can talk to her, Glenn breaks the machine and shocks him. As William panics over his expensive device, Monica takes the chance to run outside, before realizing that Glenn's IQ must have been over 250 points if it broke the machine. She remembers that even among the 7 sages, only 2 had mana points so high. Monica loses her train of thought as she hears noises from a nearby club and goes inside to check. She peeks into the room to see a bunch of students playing chess, but gets startled when Elliot shows up behind her. He asks if she wants to play chess, but she tells him that she doesn't even know what it means, so he takes her inside to show her. After sitting down at a table with him, Monica asks Elliot how to win, and he laughs before explaining that she has to take the opponent's king like in a war. Monica wonders if chess is like a war. Which piece would be the mage? And Elliot thinks that the bishop is a suitable piece to consider as the mage, since they play a similar role to them. Monica nods, but then she starts asking about their strength at manipulating magic, attacking, defending, the battle environment, and other factors. Elliot tells her that the simple game doesn't include so many factors to worry about, and Monica thinks that it's just a flat game with no depth to it. All the students around them get silenced as she continues her commentary, realizing that there are no complex goals or tasks like diplomacy in chess. Once she figures out how simple the game is, she tells the unsettled Elliot that it's an easy game to win. Elliot begins the game by taking away his queen to give Monica an advantage because she is a beginner. She asks to make the first move, and Elliot allows her, noting her smart move. The game begins after Monica picks up her pawn, and both players trade pieces in an even match. All the chess club members watch the game with interest, while Elliot wonders where Monica learned such smart strategies. He wonders if there's any way to win, and picks the only choice he has left. Elliot feels guilty about using such an advanced technique against a beginner, but after seeing the focused look on Monica's face, he makes his move anyway. Monica gets surprised by this move, and Elliot explains what he did. She quickly gives up and admits defeat, knowing that there is no way for her to win after that. Then, Monica humbles up and apologizes for saying that chess is an easy game. Suddenly, a giant man walks up to her and asks for her name. Monica starts glitching out from fear and turns into a Pokemon, stuttering her own name. Elliot tells his professor that they're from the student council, and he invites her to take the chess course. After she gets offers to take 2 classes, Monica falls into another crisis while thinking about her courses. She tells Nero that even though William will recognize her, she can't skip his class for the chess professor, since the school requires her to pick at least 2 elective courses. Nero offers to help her calm down by offering some friendly cat paws, which she quickly accepts. The next day, Monica keeps thinking about her chess game with Elliot, who scolds Cyril for his awful drawing. Monica asks what the fuss is about, and Elliot shows her Cyril's bull, which actually looks like a funny rabbit. Monica feels too embarrassed to admit it out loud, but Cyril defends himself, saying that Felix recognizes his drawings, only to be reminded that he is the only person whose drawing skills are that bad. Then, Monica shows them the real drawing of the merchant company's logo, and Elliot asks her to go out with him. After the 2 of them leave, Cyril watches them suspiciously, but Bridget tells him he's worrying too much. As Elliot walks with Monica towards a stable, he keeps thinking back to his chess game, feeling guilty that he defeated her with an advanced move. Once they arrive, Elliot waves at the carriage drivers before awkwardly asking Monica about the chess game. He never gets the chance to apologize as Monica realizes that the logo on the merchant's carriage is different from the one she saw. Elliot asks if she remembers right, and Monica confirms, so he gets in front to protect her from the disguised bandits. The leader of the bandits walks up to them and takes out his dagger as Elliot tells Monica to go ask for help. After that, Elliot runs up to distract the bandits, but Monica uses her magic to shock one of their horses and knocks one of the guys down. The leader gets shocked as the horse runs by him, and Monica uses another shock to knock him down as well. However, the scared horse goes wild and runs straight for Monica, but narrowly avoids her. She panics and forgets to use her magic to protect herself, and the horse returns for another hit. Luckily, another girl jumps up on the horse and quickly calms it down. Once the scene settles, they capture the bandits and lock them up, and Monica thanks the girl called Casey, who saved her from the horse. She gets Monica to pet the horses, and she apologizes to the animal for hurting it. Monica then asks about Casey's talent for handling horses, and learns that she used to handle animals back in her hometown, just like in a certain Piggy song. Casey stops, thinking there's no way she would know the silly Piggy song, but gets pleasantly surprised as Monica tells her she loves it. After telling her that she has different tastes from all the refined nobles, Casey drags Monica away to the carriage driver's seat. She jokes about teaching horse riding as a course, but Monica thinks she won't be able to do it. Casey tells her that she'll help her even if she's a beginner, and Monica agrees to try it out, much to her joy. Later at night, Nero finds Monica collapsed on her desk from exhaustion. He smiles after seeing that she picked chess and horse riding as her 2 elective courses. Some days later, a stressed teacher wonders why none of the noble students at her academy know how to dance. Meanwhile, in another room, Glenn decides to give Monica some practical experience of what a tornado feels like. Their teacher scolds them for their awful performance before switching up their partners. Monica thanks her for setting up Neil with her, but they wonder who will play the music for them. Lana shows up to help, and the confused kids ask who she is. Monica tells them that she's her friend, before getting embarrassed that she said it out loud. Lana confidently steps inside to help, and Monica smiles at her. Their teacher walks outside, hoping that the kids aren't making progress. When she heads back in, she finds Neil and Monica dancing normally while Glenn plays human merry-go-round with Casey. She leaves happily, and Felix calls Neil and Monica to ask if she can pass a dance exam. Neil politely tells him that Monica still needs more practice, and Cyril points out that she's probably a walking or dancing disaster. However, Felix remains calm, saying that he believes in Monica's ability. He goes up to her and lifts her chin, asking her to do her best for his sake, and Monica gets the motivation to study dancing harder than ever. She starts calculating all the formulas to match the music's tempo with her body, but Cyril reminds her that it's better to just practice it instead of using calculations. Later at night, Nero massages Monica's back and tells her that he saw all her dance moves through a window. Her awful performance makes him think she was competing to step on her partner's foot. Monica tries to protest, but fails to convince him that he's wrong. He then reminds her that she needs to meet Felix's expectations, and Monica thinks about her father, who also wanted to do the same. In her childhood, he had told her that if he could find a way to represent the human body completely in numbers, he would have been able to heal everyone's illnesses. Monica then thinks back that even though her father was a good man, some people got jealous of his work and had him erased from her life. She relates this event to her own achievement of learning unchanted magic just to meet everyone's expectations, only to get rejected by someone close to her. Monica then thinks about all the good experiences she had with the students at Serendia, wondering if it's better for her to just stay alone in her hut to avoid getting hurt. Nero rubs her back to check on her, and she tells him that she wants to practice dancing. When he offers to help, Monica wonders how he can even dance, but Nero grabs her and quickly gets to work. The next day, she sits in class, tired from all her dance practice, remembering how annoyed Nero got with her clumsy mistakes. As she wonders if Nero will ever forgive her and practice with her again, her teacher announces to the class that they'll all have to take a tea party course if they want to pass. Monica asks Isabel for help with the tea party, so she tells her that the most important thing to avoid doing at a party is bringing the same tea as someone else. To help her avoid this blunder, Isabel asks about the friends she will share tea with. Monica tells her that she doesn't know anyone other than Lana and Casey, but Isabel confidently tells her that she can give her the perfect tea for the job. She takes a dish from Agatha to smash for her villainous act before preparing to make Monica's tea. When it's time for the tea party, Monica heads to the kitchen, remembering all of Isabel's teachings on how noble ladies should act. She feels overwhelmed by all the noble manners, but Casey comes up and asks her if she's ready to make the tea. She notices that all the other rich girls have brought their maids to help them cook, and offers to work with Monica to make theirs on their own. Then, after Casey writes their names and puts them under their bags so their tea doesn't get misplaced, the bell for the tea party rings. She leaves quickly, telling Monica that their friend Claudia will get angry if they're not on time. Monica wonders what kind of person she is, and learns that Claudia is an intelligent bookworm with a personality disorder. Once all the girls sit down for their tea, Claudia calmly tells them all to begin drinking. Casey asks her which tea she brought, and Claudia coldly tells her that she would obviously bring the best type. Then Lana asks to have some milk with her tea, but Claudia tells her that she should be smart enough to know her tea doesn't taste good with it. Watching them nearby, Caroline jealously whispers about Monica, remembering how Cyril punished her because of her actions. Back at Monica's table, the girls enjoy some tea from Casey next, who tells them it's a specialty from her hometown. Next, it's Lana's turn to bring her tea. After her maid brings it over, the girls have a taste, and both Monica and Casey enjoy it a lot. Lana feels proud, revealing that she got the best tea just for them, but Claudia interrupts, saying that it's good to start a tea session with a lighter flavor so their taste doesn't get spoiled. Monica realizes that's the reason why the first tea was so mild, but then Claudia tells Lana that it's not a good idea to bring the best tea in the world when they're just having a tea party with friends. She thinks that it could feel like an insult from her friends, but both Casey and Monica defend Lana. Claudia tells them that it's only natural they would cover for their friend, and Lana finally stands up for herself, saying that she's the one who is acting like a useless party pooper. Claudia remains calm in the face of her insult, and tells Lana that she isn't worthy enough to waste time, saying that there are geniuses out there like the Silent Witch. Hearing that, Monica becomes shocked, but remains silent as Claudia starts publicly glazing her, pointing out that even though she is such a genius that she invented 20 new magic formulas, she never attended an academic conference. Monica silently thinks that it's just because she can't handle all the people there. But Claudia then also says that even in the public appearances the Silent Witch made, she always remained quiet. Monica knows that she was just too nervous to speak in reality, so Louis had to read her speech. But Claudia thinks that she is too wise to talk to dumb small fries. As Monica wishes she could expose the reality about herself, Lana also starts believing Claudia's words, who then looks at Monica and points out that she has the same name as the Silent Witch. Her words completely stun Monica, and she quickly runs away to get her tea to avoid getting exposed. Once in the kitchen, Monica nervously wonders if her identity has been exposed, but thinks that it was just a coincidence. She goes to fetch her tea bag, but finds it thrown into the trash by bullies. When she takes too long to return, Casey comes up to check on her and finds her in tears. After confirming that Monica doesn't have any backup tea to use, she offers her own tea to her. Monica feels bad about using the same tea as her, but Casey says that she just wants her friend to feel included as well. She feels grateful for her offer, but refuses to use her tea, and runs away after telling her to go back to the girls. At the tea table, Lana silently eats cake, feeling bad about Claudia's words since she just wanted her friends to drink the best tea ever. After Casey returns to their table, Monica walks up carrying a blender in her hands. She pours out some coffee for everyone, saying that a strong flavor should be okay since it's their last drink now. All the girls start drinking the coffee, and both Lana and Casey think it tastes great, while Claudia calls her out for serving them coffee at a tea party. Monica understands Claudia's intentions, but she tells her that she only wanted to share something she loved with her friends, so it doesn't matter to her if she is the only odd one out. Seeing the love her friend has, Lana quickly finishes all her coffee and thanks Monica for sharing it. Later, as the girls head back to their class after the tea party, Casey remembers that they still have a dance performance left. Monica starts stammering nervously, but Casey tells her that she'll guide her through all of it. They enter the dance room, and Monica's heart flutters as she sees both Felix and Cyril waiting for them like gentlemen. Cyril tells Monica she should feel grateful that the prince considered helping her practice, but Felix reminds him that he never invited him to the party anyway. When he points out that Cyril even finished all his daily tasks early just so he could help Monica, he gets embarrassed and tries to deny it. Then, Cyril scolds Glenn for being such an awful dance partner and tells him that it's the man's job to lead the lady. He then asks Monica for her hand to practice dancing and takes her away. Lana begins playing the piano, and Cyril dances away with Monica, who feels shocked that she isn't messing up the dance somehow. She feels surprised that the cold Cyril is acting so gentlemanly, and they finish the dance elegantly. After finishing, Cyril tells Glenn that this is how he is really supposed to lead a lady, and Monica tells him that he should act like a normal person instead of being such a gentleman. Cyril takes his duty as the leader very seriously, and even the non-serious Glenn feels impressed by his dedication. Then, Prince Felix walks over after telling Glenn to practice his leading skills with Cyril. He reaches his hand out to help Monica practice as well, but she feels too nervous to grab it. Felix asks if she doesn't mind practicing with him, and once she says she'll do it, he pulls her into a close hold, which sends the nervous girl into shock. He wonders why she is feeling so nervous with him instead of Cyril, and Monica tells him that she just spent the entire time distracted by how different Cyril was acting. Felix then takes her away and tells her to talk with him to help her relax. As they naturally move together, he compliments the color of her eyes before asking about her hairstyle. Monica tells him that she got it done with the help of Lana and her precious comb, and Felix notes that he has never seen her with such a unique expression before. Then Monica notices the beautiful brooch he is wearing, and she turns into a human computer, thinking about all the material's properties. As the distraction makes her forget all her stress, she easily finishes the dance, much to everyone's pleasant surprise. When they ask her how she improved so much, Monica tells them that she was just focused on the brooch and stopped caring about useless stuff like talking to the prince leading her. She realizes her mistake too late, as Felix asks her if she thinks he's just a useless idiot. Monica corrects herself and thanks his brooch for helping her dance well, and the frustrated Cyril yells at her to thank the prince instead. Some days later, Felix watches as Glenn runs with some food towards his friends. He wonders why a young mage with such incredible talent appeared in his academy and suspects him of being an assassin. Down in the park, the girls congratulate Monica for passing both her courses and celebrate with a barbecue. Monica tells them that she only passed the dance class because Neil was such a good partner, and Felix comes up to check on them. He reminds the kids that they need to get a permit from the school to barbecue out in the open. Glenn tells him that it's okay since they have the council president on their side anyway, and Felix takes some food from him to their surprise. All the other students, except Glenn, look shocked after the prince asks them to keep his little crime a secret. Later, Rin visits Monica at her house and greets her with a manual ringtone from her mouth. Monica awkwardly takes the package she got for her, and Rin tells her that it's a reward from Louis for capturing Victor, because he wants to keep using her by promising gifts for her work. Then, as Monica begins writing a thank you letter to Louis, Rin mentions the bandits that entered the school as a trading company, informing her that they could enter because even though Louis set up a barrier around the school, it only protects it from external attacks. Monica thinks about finding the source of the barrier and rewriting it for better protection, so Rin lets her know that Louis actually created several deadly traps to protect his creation. The next day, Monica walks in the school hall while carrying some papers for work. While she wonders what to say to Louis, she spots Claudia staring at her. She feels uncomfortable as she remembers how often Claudia stalks her and tries to ignore her before quickly running off. Then she runs into Caroline and her girls on the stairs, who smile and invite her to attend a tea party with them. Monica feels uneasy but thinks that she should be safe, since she now knows how to handle such events. They take her outside in the shade for the tea party, and Caroline tells her that things have been awful for her after she pushed her off the stairs. Monica tells her she's fine now, so she asks her to tell Cyril it was an accident. She feels trapped knowing that if she claimed it was an accident, then it would make Cyril look like a liar for punishing the bullies, and if she told the truth about what happened, then she herself would be the liar. She quietly tells Caroline that she won't do it, but after looking up at her face, she finds a cold, dead expression. Suddenly, Caroline's friendly expression returns to her face, and she tells everyone to drink up. All three bully girls simply watch Monica pick her own cup without drinking their tea, and Monica feels like something is off. She takes a sip of the tea and thinks it tastes weird, but drinks all of it since she is used to bitter coffee. Even the bully girls are surprised since they thought she would choke on the drink, but Monica starts feeling dizzy and sees red, and soon passes out. The red color reminds her of the blazing fires that took her father away from her, as the townsfolk stood there and accused him of witchcraft. The little Monica cried as she watched her father burn away with his hard work, trying to memorize all the numbers he worked on so she could continue his legacy. As she later sat alone, repeating the numbers to herself, her uncle yelled at her for saying stupid stuff after his brother lost his life for the sake of weird research and cost his family their entire reputation. In the courtyard, all the present girls gather around Monica, and Claudia arrives and quickly checks her pulse. When she asks Caroline what she put in her tea, and she pretends that she didn't do anything, Claudia pulls a vial of eye drops out of her skirt. Then she sees Caroline's wide eyes and wonders what kind of poison she used, but she explains that it was just normal eye drops, and she didn't expect Monica to just drink the weird-tasting tea. Claudia then goes back to Monica and tries using her fingers to make her vomit out the poison, but calls for medical help when it doesn't work. Later, as someone holds her hand, the sleeping Monica thinks it's her father, which surprises Felix. Cyril tells him that she's just sleep-talking, while Felix notes how kind he is being instead of forcing her to wake up and work. Finally, Monica opens her eyes and sees the two boys waiting for her. She immediately gets on the floor and apologizes to them for causing so much trouble. Felix goes up to her and asks her to look at him, but Monica cries, thinking she's a failure for burdening the student council. Felix remains silent, and Cyril goes up to Monica and makes her stand up. Then, he takes her back to her bed and tucks her in after telling her to get some rest. Felix smiles as he watches Cyril act tough but take good care of Monica, and Claudia also arrives to check the scene. She asks him how she's doing, and Monica learns that he's actually her older brother. Felix thanks her for giving Monica quick medical help, and she just accepts it without any enthusiasm, which makes Cyril angry. Claudia tells him that she doesn't want to wag her tail like a dog just to make other people happy. Felix says that they should go now and stop disturbing the patient. And while leaving, Cyril tells Monica that she doesn't need to come to the student council today, and asks his sister to keep a good eye on Monica. Claudia teases him for being so concerned for the little girl, and he leaves before he can get embarrassed even more. Then she tells Monica that although the eye drops aren't dangerous for a healthy adult, a kid like her could still have lost her life. Monica feels offended that she called her a kid, but then Claudia doubles down and keeps calling her a little kitty who needs to stay in her bed and rest for the day. Monica wonders why she's being so rude, so she tells her that it's because she doesn't want her to think she saved her life. She wonders if Claudia hates her, but she explains that she just doesn't like her because she stole her fiancé away from her in the dance class. Monica feels shocked that she's actually Prince Felix's fiancé, but before they can discuss anything else, Glenn and Neil also enter to visit her. Glenn offers her some meat to eat, while Neil reminds him that she's still recovering from the poison. Then, he notices Claudia and praises her for saving Monica's life, but she quietly listens to him speak. Monica feels surprised when Claudia answers with a small yes, but when Glenn asks her if she knows her, she sits next to her and tells him they're actually friends, her two-faced behavior leaving her shocked. Then, Claudia introduces herself to Glenn as a second-year student and the fiancé of Neil, which surprises him. Neil explains that their engagement was arranged by their parents, so Claudia asks if he doesn't like her. He quickly tells her that he just doesn't feel good enough for her. So she goes up to him and takes his arm, and orders Monica to tell her that they look like a cute couple. Glenn notices the tension in the air, but it gets broken when a panicked Casey rushes in to see if Monica is okay. She feels confused by the strange atmosphere, and Claudia explains that she was telling them about her romance story with Neil. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the school, Felix walks with Cyril while thinking about Monica crying, remembering that he used to feel inferior just like her when he was a kid. Cyril tells him that Caroline and the bullies are ready to be questioned, and that Isabel barged into the student council room earlier, saying that she needed to speak to the bullies. Felix smiles at this news while Caroline's group waits anxiously for their punishment. She thinks that it was just a harmless prank and feels confident her powerful father will save her from the mess. The girls are surprised when Felix asks to enter, and Caroline looks up nervously when he addresses her. She sees the smile on his face and thinks that he's on her side, but when Felix asks her to tell him how she planned her attempt to take Monica's life, her smirk completely disappears. She tries claiming that it was just a prank, but Felix reminds her that she literally put poison in her drink. After her first lie backfires, she claims that she just used harmless eye drops because she thought Monica would appreciate all the attention from the scene. Cyril reminds her that the drops she used are strong medicines used in surgery, and she wipes tears from her eyes, saying that she didn't know they would be so harmful. Felix then asks her if she's speaking the truth, and Caroline gets excited again, nodding in response. Then, he asks if she used the drops just to embarrass Monica, and adds a charge of defamation to her case. Caroline realizes she is doomed, and before they can discuss anything else, Isabel enters the room and thanks Felix for letting her appear. She goes to sit next to Felix, and Caroline feels hopeful since she thinks she totally hates Monica. She apologizes to the bully girls that her lowly servant caused so much trouble for them, and Caroline feels relieved as she calls Agatha over to give them some tea as a gift. As she brings out the same vial of eye drops and puts them in their drinks, saying it's actually a beauty medicine. It is at this moment that the girls realize they screwed up. Agatha puts the drinks in front of the nervous girls, and Isabel waits for them to drink them. Caroline feels nervous, but she drinks the tea, hoping that Isabel wouldn't be bold enough to truly poison her. Suddenly, she chokes and coughs the tea out on the floor and starts screaming at her for poisoning her. Isabel acts like she doesn't know what she's talking about and claims it's just a medication for beauty again. She drinks the tea herself to prove that it just tastes bitter, and then mocks Caroline for drinking it all just to be a good guest. Then, after telling her that she embarrassed herself in front of the prince, Isabel tells Caroline she will inform her father that she tried poisoning her family member. Caroline's heart grows cold, as Isabel points out that her family actually relies on her father's protection, and if they stopped sheltering them, they would have to face the dragon raids on their own until the royal troops reached them. Finally, Caroline grows quiet, looking like she had been possessed as she quietly says it was a mistake. Isabel coldly tells her that noble families don't forgive easily, so they should go tell their classmates how they ruined their family's future. Afterward, Agatha asks Isabel if it's a good idea to make enemies with Caroline's family. She nods, saying that if she shows everyone that her family doesn't play around, they'll finally respect Monica and leave her alone. She recalls her promise to devote everything to help the silent witch who saved her town, and tells Agatha to bring Monica's bed into her own room so they can take care of her until she's healthy again. A week later, after Monica has recovered from her illness, she finds Rin still waiting, forgotten for the entire week, like a piece of trash. Monica apologizes for leaving her alone for so long and explains that she actually got poisoned after leaving, and Rin wonders why the powerful guard sent to protect the prince almost lost her own life. Afterward, Rin tells her that someone kept sending secret letters to her when she was sick. Monica reads them all and finds out that they were written by Lana, and puts them all away with a smile on her face. Later, Casey and Lana take her to have dinner at a fancy restaurant, and Claudia also sits next to her, saying it's only natural to be with a friend. To prove her point, she forces Monica to tell everyone they're friends, while Lana points out that it doesn't count like this.
You have to force her to say it.
After the food arrives, the girls dig in, and Casey tells them that they always have grilled fish back at her house. Claudia notices her eating her hands and thinks that's bad manners as a noble, but Casey tells her that where she comes from, everyone works hard without pretending to be civilized. Claudia wonders how a country bumpkin like her even got admitted to the academy, and Casey ignores her before asking for her plans for the student week. She seems annoyed and tells her that she'll just stay in her room until the final event because Neil doesn't have time to spend with her. Lana tells her that she'll miss out on the stage play, which she is designing the costumes for. Then she also brings up the grand fireworks show, upset that Claudia is just going to rot in her bedroom for the entire week. Then she asks Casey about the embroidery she is donating to a coming charity event, and she shows her a handkerchief she made.
This sort of thing.
Both Lana and Monica find it pretty, and Casey blushes with happiness at their praise. She asks Monica if she wants her to make something for her as well, but she tells her that she doesn't want to burden her after all the favors she is already doing for her. Casey smiles and reminds her that she isn't teaching her horse riding because of a favor, but because she truly enjoys doing it. While Claudia silently sips her drink, Monica feels excited about all the events coming up. Later in the school hall, the girls are walking to their class when they encounter Cyril. He asks Monica to come help him since the student council needs to move some materials for student week. Then, after he informs her that Felix and Elliot, and Neil and Bridget, will be working as pairs together, Claudia mocks him for leaking private info to an outsider before getting jealous that Bridget will be with her fiancé. Cyril calls her back before she can go bother them, and once again asks Monica to join him.
Oh, no, you won't.
She agrees, but Claudia calls her out for using his last name, since she also has the same last name. She taunts Cyril for just being an acquaintance of Monica, because she uses her first name like a real friend should, and Monica tries defending herself by saying that she just uses Cyril's last name because she respects him. Claudia continues teasing her brother for bullying his junior, so he sighs and tells Monica to just use his first name as well. She awkwardly says his name, and Cyril looks away, embarrassed to hear it from her. Outside, Nero is hunting for some birds when he senses some mana in the nearby storage. Elliot goes up to Felix and informs him of their guests, and Nero narrows his eyes in suspicion. Sometime later, Cyril and Monica wait for Lana to show up and help them, but find Casey running up to them instead.
Casey?
She explains that Lana got into an argument with the history club about which event they should hold, so she had to come in her place. She goes inside with Monica and tells her to keep the record while she counts all the materials. Monica goes along, working on her notepad, but finds Casey missing after some time. She calls her from behind to come check some missing materials, but as Monica starts walking towards her, some giant wooden planks slip and start falling on Casey. She freezes in shock, while Monica uses the little time she has left to cast a wind spell and blows the planks away. Monica cringes as the wind hits the planks and sees Casey sitting down in shock.
Did I do that in time?
Cyril also runs over to check and tells her to take Casey to the doctor since the planks could have hit her. Monica nods, but before she leaves, she looks at the broken rope tying the bundle of planks together. As Monica walks with Casey through the school, she feels sad about being so scared. But she reminds her that it's only natural to be shocked. Then she tells her that the rope tying the bundle was cut with knives, so someone tried to attack them while making it look like it broke naturally. Casey is shocked by the news and asks who could do it, and Monica reveals that she calculated how much time it took for the cuts to break the rope, because they were only freshly cut.
I calculated how long it must have taken.
She points out that after the bandit incident, the school increased its security and prohibited weapons from outside. She reveals that since only a person from inside could do such an attack, Casey is the only person who could have done it. With dread in her voice, Monica asks Casey to confirm if she did it, and she laughs, not bothering to hide it.
Casey, did you cut the rope?
She takes out a knife from her pocket and explains that she was trying to hurt Monica, but the planks fell down on her quicker than she expected. Monica refuses to believe that her friend would betray her, but Casey coldly tells her that she always hated her from the start, and she was also the person who threw away her tea at the tea party. Monica tells her that she knew it was her, since she always used to hide her bags at the previous school parties she attended. She found out that since Casey had made her put her name inside it, she was the only one who could find it and throw it away. Casey feels awkward that she has always known her secret, but just then, Nero bursts through a window with urgent news, informing them that there is a strange mana reaction in the warehouse. Monica focuses her energy and detects a huge spiral blaze, which is like a magic time bomb.
Fire attribute. It's absorbing and compressing the surrounding mana.
Realizing that Casey wants to assassinate Prince Felix. Meanwhile, in the warehouse, a student approaches Felix and asks him to join their play. He refuses, but she tells him that the lead actress, Eliane, really wants to act with him. Felix strongly tells her no and warns the girl, who leaves in disappointment. His pet lizard then asks him if it's a good idea to turn down Eliane. who is also a potential fiancé arranged by Duke Clockford for him, and Felix says that he doesn't care about stupid things like marriage, and his only goal is to become king. Back in the corridor, Casey points her knife at Monica, saying that she will never allow Felix to become king as the puppet of Clockford, since Duke Clockford wants to start a war against the Kingdom of Landor. She thinks that Felix won't have the power to stop it. She says that when she heard of a passing mage defeating the Earth Dragon that suddenly appeared in the town, she was really envious. After that, she explains that they don't have any money or soldiers, but despite that, when the Earth Dragon showed up, the Empire did nothing, and Landor was the only country that sent a mage to defeat the Earth Dragon for them. Monica asks Casey to deactivate the Spiral Blade. However, she refuses, saying that she will never do it, even if tortured, because her entire family will be punished if she gets caught trying to assassinate the prince. Monica realizes the situation is doomed and starts tearing up because she doesn't want to fight her friend. But then she thinks about Felix losing his life and gets the determination to take action against her, even if it hurts her. She tells Nero that she will attack the school to activate Lewis's barrier and expose its core. After telling Nero to go look for the core, Monica raises her hands, which creates magic circles all around the school domain and launches energy shots towards it. The barrier appears and blocks the attacks, and Nero finds the core in the old garden. Casey realizes that Monica might be able to stop her plans, so she tries to attack her, only to get easily disarmed by Nero. She tells Monica that it's useless to try to stop the spiral blaze, but Monica tells her that she knows a way to save Felix. Both of them head towards the old garden while Nero carries Casey on his shoulders. She finds Monica's face familiar, remembering her 3 brothers who fought against the vicious dragons. Casey remembers her first brother, who lost his life after a dragon picked him up and dropped him from the sky. She also recalls that her second brother was torn apart by another one, and her third brother was melted into his armor by a fire dragon. Casey realizes that even though all of them met such brutal ends,
my third eldest brother was burned by the fiery breath of the red dragon.
They always had a determined expression to fight for their people on their faces, just like Monica. Once they arrive at the barrier's core, Monica places her hand on it and tries to rewrite the formula to make it protect against spiral flames as well. Suddenly, she remembers that Lewis told her about adding traps in the barrier's formula, and Nero pulls her back as an overgrowth of thorns shoots out from the core. Nero thinks that Lewis is insane for designing such a dangerous trap, but Monica tells him that only the Thorn Witch of the 7 Sages can cast a spell like this, so he must have asked her for help. As the thorns shoot out to attack them, Monica defends with a magic shield. Casey gets shocked by her powerful magecraft abilities, and Monica steps forward to cast her strongest spell, which requires her to chant the incantation. The gate of the Great Wind Spirit King, Sheffield, slowly opens and releases a powerful wind that slices through the thorns. After that, Monica tells Casey that she's not the only one with secrets, before running to the core and completing her formula. As the spiral blaze heats up, ready to explode, Monica desperately edits the formula and manages to finish it just in the nick of time. At the end, the spiral blaze finally explodes, but gets snuffed out by the new barrier and barely causes any harm as Elliot notices the little boom at the warehouse. On the other hand, Monica lies down in relief as Nero notices that she has used up all of her mana. After that, she stands up and finds Casey with a defeated expression, and tears up seeing her in such a horrible state. However, Casey tells her that she can't sympathize with a criminal. Then, Nero suddenly notices something in the sky and runs away, saying he will leave it for Monica to handle. The light from the sky glows brighter and crashes in front of them, and Lewis comes out screaming at Rin to use safer landing techniques. He stands up after cleaning himself up and explains that he sensed the changes within his barrier. Monica waits nervously while Lewis looks straight at her for a discussion. Lewis expresses his surprise that Monica lost all her mana to a simple trap, even though she can take out an entire army of dragons by herself. Then he turns to the stranger, Casey, who reveals that she is a criminal who just tried to assassinate Prince Felix. As Rin goes over and whispers something in Casey's ear, Lewis asks Monica what happened, and she explains that there was a spiral blaze in the storage. She also tells him that she used his own barrier to defuse the spiral blaze, but he feels surprised that she overcame his thorn trap so easily. Then Lewis wonders how Monica managed to find the real barrier formula to overwrite, since he added a lot of dummy formulas to hide it. She surprises Louis even more by revealing that it took her a minute to find it. He leaves her shocked after saying that he'll blame her every time his barrier is attacked, before turning back to the arrested Casey. Monica asks Lewis what will happen to her, and he explains that she and all her partners will be investigated and tortured for information before being executed. Monica feels horrified by this and asks if he is on the First Prince's side. He reveals that even though he went to school with First Prince Lionel, he doesn't actually like him and only pretends to be on his side because he just hates the old fart Clockford. Then, Monia tells him that Casey is actually from Landor, which is the First Prince's mother's hometown, and if someone from his side got caught trying to assassinate the Second Prince, it would cause a war in the Empire. He smiles at Monica's attempt to negotiate and tells her that the First Prince and his mother are actually peaceful individuals who don't want to fight for the throne, so people like Casey are insulting their name with their actions. Monica desperately pleads with him to have mercy on her friend, and he tells her that if Casey honestly tells her everything about her plans, he will banish her to a church for education and away from the noble society. With tears in her eyes, Monica accepts his decision, and Lewis tells her that she has gotten too soft as the silent witch of the Seven Sages. He leaves Casey with Rin and goes back to fixing his barrier, while Monica turns around to face her former friend. Casey tells Monica that she won't thank her or say sorry, since she is her enemy. She tells the sobbing witch to stop crying for a criminal, and tells her that if she can't hate her, then she should just forget about her. Monica cries even more, saying she will never forget the memories of her friend, and Casey smiles with guilt on her face,
Can't ever forget about you.
knowing how soft she is. Then, Rin takes Casey and starts floating up to take her away, and Casey looks back at the crying Monica to say one final apology. She tells her that while she won't say sorry for her assassination attempt, she regrets being unable to fulfill her promise to teach her horse riding and embroidery. With those final words, Rin takes Casey away, and Lewis tells Monica that she needs to toughen up. He wipes the little girl's snotty face with his own handkerchief, and then goes back to fixing his barrier. After he tells her that he'll make an official cover-up story to protect Casey, Monica asks him about his handkerchief, and he reveals that it's a birthday gift from his wife, so she should wash and iron it out before returning it. Somewhere else in the academy, Felix walks with Wildianu, who confirms that he sensed a spirit being summoned. He walks towards the barrier, knowing that it would be activated if there was an emergency. Meanwhile, around the barrier, Lewis realizes that he can't cover up for the barrier getting destroyed with a weak excuse, blaming Monica for summoning a spirit king to fight a flimsy spiral blaze. Felix overhears him talking out loud, shocked that the Silent Witch actually appeared at his academy and used such a powerful magic spell. He wonders what it's like to see her in action, remembering the day when he watched Monica from afar as she destroyed all of the dragons in the Kingdom of Riddle. Felix feels even more flattered as he realizes that the legendary Silent Witch he loves personally came to save him from the spiral blaze.
Did he say it was to stop a spiral flame? Could that possibly be true? She's here to stop my assassination?
Unaware that she is walking back to her room, crying like a little girl. 3 days later, Isabel angrily threatens Agatha to get out of her way if she values her own life. Agatha bravely refuses, reminding her angry young lady that she needs to rest in bed until her fever gets better. As Isabel tries arguing with her, Agatha pops a thermometer into her mouth, then tosses her in bed and puts a blanket over her, firmly refusing to let her see her beloved Monica. Meanwhile, in the academy, Monica walks through a hallway silently. Lana catches up to her and fixes her dress, thinking that Casey had to go because of her family issues. She thinks that they should write her a letter to check on her. But Monica remains silent, so Lana asks what she's going to wear to the dance after the school festival. Monica awkwardly tells her that she'll wear her uniform, before Lana reminds her that she can't represent the student council while dressed like an uncultured dad. When she offers to lend her a dress of her own, Monica hesitates since she doesn't want to burden her even more. Lana reminds her that it's totally normal for friends to help each other out without expecting something in return, putting a smile on Monica's gloomy face with her kindness. Sometime later, Monica attends her first horse riding class, terrified of the high height she has to sit on. Their teacher asks the students to start with a simple walk, but Monica awkwardly struggles and falls off, even at the slow speed. She feels determined to learn how to ride a horse to show it to Casey, but is surprised after seeing that Felix is also taking the same course with her. He gets up on a horse with her and helps her ride it properly, correcting her posture and helping her to handle the reins. Felix asks her why she chose chess and horse riding as her optional courses, and Monica informs him that she wants to show it to a friend. He smiles and wishes her good luck for her goal, and Monica nods, wanting to return the help that all her friends have given her. After her horse riding class ends, Monica visits the chess club, where the professor announces that they'll play blitz chess. Elliot still feels surprised that she chose chess, and Monica quietly asks him to start the game. Then, he apologizes to her for using the castling technique against her, even though he didn't teach her. Monica tells him that if it were her friend Claudia, instead of him, she would have just called her stupid for sitting down to play a new game without even knowing the rules and techniques. Elliot thinks that's too rude, but Monica thinks it's only fair. He still tells her that it's shameful that he used an advanced technique against her, even though he underestimated her skills. Monica tells him that despite his explanation, she still can't get angry at him, so Elliot decides to use his full strength against her. Monica smiles and begins playing the game with him, and Elliot remembers a scene while watching her. Back when he was little, he saw the little Prince Felix scared on the top of a horse, as his older brother Lionel helped him learn how to ride. Watching the scared prince, Elliot wonders how such a cowardly boy like him can become the king of the empire one day, even though he can't ride a horse. Suddenly, Lionel tells Felix that they're done for the day and helps his little brother get off the horse. As he tells Elliot that it's time to go home, the little boy wonders why the little prince's servant is much more capable than him, while the little prince lowered his head and apologized for his poor performance.
I'm not good at horseback riding. I'm really sorry.
Sometime later, the two kids go to a garden, where Felix starts crying after losing his book. Elliot tells him to stop crying over such a small thing, but seeing how sad he is, he tells him that he saw a crow carrying it up to a dried tree. He asks Felix to climb up the tree and get his book back, taunting him to see if he calls his servant for help. The prince slowly climbs up the tree's branch, feeling scared, but he gains the confidence to move as Elliot smirks smugly at his cowardly expression. He moves up to the book and smiles with joy as he grabs it, but suddenly slips off and falls. As he lies on the ground, Elliot thinks that Felix is just pretending to be hurt from a small fall, but gets shocked as he finds him bleeding and passed out. In a closed room, Elliot's father hits him, screaming at him for hurting the prince and endangering their entire family. Before he can turn the room into a fighting ring, the prince arrives and tells him that it was his fault for climbing the tree. The prince tells his father that Elliot was just trying to stop him, but he went up stubbornly and got hurt. Elliot's father spares him, but later, as the prince rests in his room, Elliot yells at him for defending him even though he got him hurt so badly. Felix thought that he fell down because he wasn't good enough at climbing, so he couldn't blame Elliot for his injury. Elliot finally quiets down and tells him that he'll teach him how to properly climb once he recovers. At present, Monica's blameless attitude reminds Elliot of Prince Felix, who blamed himself even though it was someone else's fault, realizing the reason why Felix loves hanging out with her. In the evening, after Cyril learns his final tasks from Bridget, he greets Monica, who is back to her duties as usual. He tells her that he has prepared all of her tasks from the days she was missing, and Monica nods before thinking how tired she is. Neil turns around and gets shocked by how awful she looks, but Monica tells him she's fine and keeps walking. She runs into Cyril's back, but in her sleepy state, thinks that it's a really soft wall and leans against him to rest. At Neil's surprised squeaks, Monica looks up and apologizes to Cyril, but he turns around and tells her he's sorry himself. Monica wonders why he's apologizing for her mistake, but Cyril tells her that he failed to notice how tired she is because he was busy handling all the backlash from the Casey incident. Monica realizes that Cyril got blamed for the planks falling on Casey and causing her to leave, even though it wasn't his fault. She starts feeling bad for him and falls down in tears, as both Cyril and Neil rush to calm her down. She keeps apologizing to the clueless students, thinking that if she had been honest with Casey about the tea accident, maybe she would have changed her mind. With this guilt in her mind, Monica falls asleep from exhaustion. Later at night, Cyril calls over Claudia to take her back to her room, but she refuses him coldly. Then, Neil cutely asks her if she'll do him a favor, and Claudia changes her attitude faster than a chameleon changing its colors, agreeing to take Monica back.